So yes, yesterday you reported the market being in the red, and that is the first time for
the week.
And of course, that loss of about 176 billion naira, it knocked off almost about half of the gain that we had in the last two trading sessions. But take a look at your board there. The market is still, and last time I checked, still sustaining that green sentiment. Okay, so now, Nigeria stock market, it's still struggling to hold this 96,000 points index level, which of course it has been dropping at some point, almost dropping below this 96,000 points, but still struggling. Like I mentioned, the likes of MTN Nigeria, Access Co, FBN Holdings, Lafarge, and actually there were about 18 losers, which countered the losses from 35 gainers. So they pulled the market back in the red territory as a close of mid-week trading session. But at intraday, some of the financials as well as some oil and gas majors are making the market to be in the green territory for at the intraday trading session. For the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the all-share index there, 0.32% at intraday, 84,000 and still climbing, because the last time we saw it, the market was at about 83,000 points. Now it has gotten into the 84,000 points and still climbing higher at intraday trading session. On the other sides of the African continent markets, we see Egypt's EGX 30, 0.20% at intraday at 30,000 and still trying to get into the 31,000 level. We see a lot of bargain hunting on that Egyptian stock exchanges trading session at intraday. While for the Nairobi Stock Exchange, the all-share index there for the close of Wednesday's trading session, 0.76% down at 103.42. That's the lowest when you track other index numbers on the African continent. Now, let's talk about the fixed income market. Of course, the month of August is gradually winding down. Tomorrow will be the last trading week of August. But so far, let's have a review of the month of August, where we see lots of activities starting from the retail Dutch auction, the Treasury bills auctions, the OMO auctions, the FGM savings bonds, as well as the FGM bond auction, and the much talked about domestic dollar bond, which all of this, we want to know how that has impacted investor sentiment in the fixed income market across all the instruments. Now, for more details about all of this that I just mentioned, let's bring in Caleb Alimi, the chief dealer at Providence Bank, to give us more insight into this. Thank you for joining us, Caleb.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Good morning. Okay. Oh, good afternoon, sorry.
Yes, good afternoon. Nigerian time here. Okay, so Caleb, now, I want you to tell me, so far we've had so much of activity within the month of August, where I wouldn't call it the August visitor. Maybe you might call it the August visitor. That's the domestic dollar bond. But so far, how has all the activities been so far for investors within within the fixed income market?
You know, typically, August is a very quiet month globally for traders and for dealers. However, in Nigeria, this has been one of the most exciting August we've had. It's been one of the busiest, in terms of the local market. We had the introduction of the local dollar bond, 500 million, which the government launched some days ago. It's be closing officially tomorrow, and then funding will be sometime next week, September 6th precisely. You know, that announcement, in addition to further supply of bonds in the local market, has been well received. Marketers, general investors are looking forward to what will happen when they announce how much they've raised for that bond. Generally, we think we're going to see an oversubscription of more than 500 million, and I expect that the government will actually take more than that $500 million that they're looking to raise. The coupon rate is very exciting for investors. You earn 9.75% on your dollar holdings. Most banks won't pay you that, and most instruments outside Nigeria also won't pay you that. So we're seeing a lot of interest from Nigerians in diaspora. We're seeing a lot of interest from asset managers, portfolio managers in Nigeria, all looking to partake in that, 5-year local dollar bond. So it's been a positive one. Also in the local bonds market, we've also seen the DMO, sell about 320 billion naira worth of bonds this month in August, even though they offered something, way less than that. They adjusted their circular to offer 190 billion, but then they did kind of see an opportunity in the market due to the liquidity in the market and due to the, volume of bids and the raised over 300 billion for bonds in the, the month of August. Then we've also had 2 treasury bill auctions this month. We've seen interest rates, or stop rates drop from, the first auction on the month where the 1-year paper closed at 21.89%. You can call it 21.9%. And then the second auction, which was just about last week, closed at 20.9%, which is a 100 basis points movement. We've seen that the market has remained liquid in terms of interbank liquidity. That has been positive all through the month of August. The CBN has also, carried out 2 back-to-back OMO auctions, mopping out 1.6 trillion, from the market just this week. That has still not dampened the liquidity in the market. We're still seeing interest for, treasury bills and bonds. And the adjustments that the CBN has also made regarding the SDF, which is a standing deposit facility where banks can place excess monies that they have with the CBN. We've also seen them make some adjustments to that policy. All of that has, shown that the CBN is sort of adopting an expansionary monetary approach. And all of that is, encouraging investors to quickly come in and take advantage of the yields that have been at record highs for a long time. In addition to the fact that inflation has started to print downwards, and then we're entering, proper harvest season, food inflation is expected to continue to trend downwards. The signs just look very positive in terms of interest rates, that the borrowing costs will continue to reduce. Investors will continue to, come in and invest and take advantage of the juicy yields as much as possible. The local dollar bond looks like it's going to be a very huge success. By and large, everything just looks to be buoyant in the month of August.
Okay, so Caleb, I think we share that optimism, particularly with the CBN's fourth quarter Treasury bills calendar being just recently released. But thank you so much for your time, and of course, we wish you a very positive close for intraday and for the rest of Thursday's trading session.
Thank you, Anita.
That was Caleb Alimi, Chief Dealer with Providence Bank, for the market numbers and the fixed income market. Now, look at the Dubai index as well as the Abu Dhabi index within the United Arab Emirates. Negative sentiments for the two indexes. Actually, we are about the 4 out of the 4 indexes that we have here, just one gainer, which is the Qatari Stock Exchange. We will be looking at that. The Dubai index down 0.24% at about 0.25%. Abu Dhabi, more than 0.5% in the red, 0.58% at 9,235.21 for the Abu Dhabi index. On the other side of the markets, for the Saudi Arabia, we call it the Tadawul, or they call it the Tadawul, that's the name of the index there. 12,075.61, down intraday at 0.34%, while the Qatari Stock Exchange was in the green, 0.07%. That's the lone gainer for that region. And from the Middle East, we move over to the United States, where we see the stock futures there being tepid. That's coming out of the losses that they had in mid-trading session. The Dow Jones Industrial Average futures, 0.51%, S&P futures 0.20%, while the Nasdaq futures 0.22%. And this is all tracking the numbers that were released from a tech giant, or the world's the biggest chip maker there, which you call NVIDIA, which posted a 122% revenue growth on the back of surging demand, but at the same time, it was a disappointment for traders there who are hoping for higher growth rates. So the market weren't too cheery about the news of that, the revenue growth. So, but that was it for the market at the close of, well, this is just for the stock future before the market opens, the opening bell in the United States, which is 2:30 Nigerian time. And finally, for the Asian markets, we also see the impact of that NVIDIA's result hammering almost all the indexes across the Asian region, starting from the Nikkei 0.02% down, 38,362.53. The Kospi index, where we see the likes of Samsung, the likes of SK Hynix, they're actually they're the biggest supplier to NVIDIA. So they logged the biggest losses there among the Asian chip firms. So that loss was actually really impacted on the Kospi, South Korea's Kospi, which registered 1.02% decline. For the Hang Seng Index, that gained 0.53%. And for Shanghai, which is in China, we see just a bloody, what do you call bloody, I wouldn't want to use bloody, but the color red is actually what you call bloody, 2,823.11 for the Shanghai Composite, and for the Australia ASX 200, 0.33% decline for the close of Thursday's trading session. So that's a wrap on the market for Thursday.
Yeah, we see NVIDIA moving markets one way or the other, mostly in the red zone, unfortunately, at this time. Thank you so much, Anita.
Pleasure.